YouTube, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up? I want to learn how to play Daredevil, y'all. So we probably about to learn how to play Daredevil before we queue a match.
Oh!
Alright guys, you know what it is. It's time for the Daredevil Advanced Guide. This guy is absolutely ridiculous. I honestly can't believe NetEase cooked so hard with Daredevil. This has got to be the most immersive character they've created so far. Like, you really feel like Daredevil. I mean, the whole limited vision system with the trade-off of seeing everything through the walls within that radius, I mean, it's bonkers. And I wanted to make sure that I got this one right. Like, he's an insane character with a ridiculously high skill ceiling, and hopefully you enjoy the gameplay in the background. As always, my guides are not practice range guides. I think those are kind of whack, because there's just some stuff we want to show it in the practice range, you know, just so you can see it in a vacuum. But I've also lost track of how many times there's been like some new insane combo that they show off, something that you'll likely never pull off against an actual enemy in an actual match, because they don't just stand there. We don't do that here, okay? Also, I waited until I had about 26 hours of actual gameplay on Daredevil before even thinking about starting making this guide, because there's just some things you can only know if you've put the character through the ringer and you spent some time in the trenches with them. There's going to be so much crucial information in this video that I'm going to be honest, you might actually want to take notes, okay? There's a lot going on under the hood that people aren't mentioning and they're overlooking. And when you know all of the tricks, okay, your output will be insane. But before we dive into the vid, let me just take a minute to thank the sponsor who funded my time making this video. It's Rocket Money. In a world of subscription services, it can be frustrating to budget and manage your finances when it feels like every month is a moving target. With service prices constantly changing, streaming services merging, and trying to keep everything straight can be a real pain in the butt. Especially as a gamer and a dad and a hobbyist, like, free time is not Daredevil. Alright, so I always like to start my videos off with a quick summary of the hero's core identity and their gameplay loop, okay? Daredevil is really a master of screw you in particular, right? He sort of singles out a target and then he bullies them, and then he has all the tools he needs to win that 1v1. He can constantly generate bonus HP for himself, and he can even reflect some CC abilities back to the targets, trap them with their own tools. Like, he's a master dueler. But the thing that really elevates Daredevil's gameplay, and what will really take you to the next level, is learning how to move around the battlefield intuitively and rapidly, okay? Gonna see a lot of gameplay in here where I disengage safely, but it's fast. And it leverages things like 90-degree angles that most heroes can't pull off with their movement. His movement skill gap is pretty wild. I know most guys are going to focus on kills and combos, and there's a lot of that in here that is very important, but I'm also intentionally going to include a lot of approaches and disengagements, because I want you to see how to get into fights, and I want you to see how to get out of trouble and back to a neutral space. Because honestly, that's half of playing Daredevil well. And you have three abilities to leverage when disengaging and repositioning. You've got your defensive ability called Objection, where you can reflect incoming projectiles, allowing you to backpedal safely. You've got your grapple ability to grapple out of trouble, but most importantly, you also have Righteous Cross to make rapid omnidirectional changes. But it might be helpful to think of Daredevil as a CT scan, okay? You're like a surgeon, and Daredevil's vision is like a CT scan that lets you see potential points of weakness in the enemy team. You can see where their damage dealers and tanks are congregating, and you can also see where maybe one healer or one poke hero is slightly out of position. And his insane movement gives him the chance to pounce on those windows of opportunity and exploit that single moment of weakness like a surgeon with a scalpel to get in there, remove that enemy, and get out lightning fast. So let's start breaking down the kit one piece at a time. So Daredevil has a currency called Fury that he can spend to do cool stuff. He can hold 3 Fury maximum at a time. Fury is spent by hitting E on PC or the right bumper on controller, and that will pull out his chains and allow him to pick between 2 attacks. You can either slam the chains down to deal damage and generate bonus HP, or you can throw the chains to bounce between enemies for shared damage and apply a slow debuff to target's hit. Now, each of those 2 attacks consumes 2 Fury, and we'll talk about those attacks and their specifics later. But generating Fury is very important, so let's chat about how you get Fury, and then we'll talk about how you spend it. Okay, the simplest way to generate Fury is just to use your primary attack. Okay, each hit with your primary will deal 36 damage and generate 1/2 of a Fury charge. 2 hits, 1 full Fury charge. Basically, your primary attack is not really a primary attack. It's just a way to generate Fury and do a little bit of damage along the way, right? Daredevil's grapple ability, shift on PC, circle, or B on a controller, will actually grant you 2 Fury on use. So in a pinch, you can always grapple to a surface or to an enemy for an instant 2 Fury. But I seldom recommend using this as a means of generating Fury specifically. We'll touch on that ability later. Another way to get Fury, 2 Fury, is Daredevil's dash ability, which can be performed by hitting F on PC or left bumper on controller while targeting a highlighted enemy that you've tagged with your Sonic Pursuit. And the third way to gain 2 Fury at once is to block incoming damage with your Objection ability. That's right-click on PC, it's the left trigger on controller. This only works if you've actually deflected some damage, okay? It will not generate Fury if you block nothing at all. And lastly, you can generate Fury by using your Righteous Cross attack. It generates just 1/2 a Fury charge, just like your primary attack. Okay, so those are all the abilities that generate Fury. Now let's break down each ability in the kit and figure out how to best use these abilities. So we start with Sonic Pursuit. This is how you initiate combat, so it's a good starting point. Sonic Pursuit allows you to ping an enemy within your vision and tag them with a marker. Now you can do this from up to 40 meters away, which is a ton of range. Now they will see the marker when you put it on them, so they'll know that you're hunting them. So it's important because you might, like if your goal is to ambush an enemy, you might actually want to wait until the last moment to hit them with the marker so they don't have time to sort of mentally prep and get buddied up with a teammate, right? But what does the marker do? So having an enemy tagged with your Sonic Pursuit marker has a lot of benefits. First, it reduces the amount of damage that you'll take from that enemy specifically by 20%, so that's huge. So you should always have an enemy marked if you're actively fighting them. And you can shuffle this mark around every few seconds to a new target if you need to. This 20% damage reduction is extremely important because mainly because it completely throws off lethal combos that your enemy has come to rely on. So suddenly their damage output is seriously handicapped, and they need to quickly supplement their standard combos with additional follow-up damage in order to win the fight against you. So that's why Daredevil is so hard to take down in 1v1s. Another passive benefit of the marker and having a target marked is that it increases your movement speed. So you'll see wisps of wind around you, letting you know that you're moving faster. Now obviously this helps you close gaps and walk down enemies more easily. But having an enemy marked also enables you to rapidly dive on an enemy by hitting the same input to dash forward towards the target. And you can perform this dash as long as you're within 20 meters of the enemy. The dash will do a little bit of damage, about 21, and it will generate 2 Fury on hit. And it will also temporarily apply a blinding debuff on the target just to disorient them. But the biggest strength of the dash is simply allowing you to basically skip the last 20 meters of your approach and just be on your enemy suddenly. So this is how you get into an engagement very quickly. And when you kill somebody who is marked, you automatically refresh your ability to mark somebody and the dash that's attached to it. So you could mark someone, dash them, kill them, mark someone, dash to someone, kill them. and then just keep that loop going infinitely if you keep winning those fights. Now let's talk about the abilities that help you win the fight, and then we'll talk about the abilities that help you get out of trouble after that. So next up, we want to talk about objection. Okay, so this is so much more important than people think it is. So you're going to see gameplay where I freeze enemies, where I sleep enemies, where I kill an enemy with an Iron Man ultimate, and all of that is because I know what the ability does and when to use it. Okay, objection is your block ability. You swing your billy clubs around for 2 whole seconds, blocking all frontal damage. So note that Psylocke's ult.
With the American Express Platinum card, you can unlock experiences like no other. Find out your welcome offer. Get up to $400 in Resi credits and earn 5 times points on eligible flights and prepaid.
Ultimate, it always hits you from behind, so you can't block that. So you kind of got to know what this works against and what it doesn't. But any damage specifically coming at you from the front will be reflected. And notice that I said reflected, not blocked. So you will actually reflect projectiles and their effects back towards the enemy. So here, Luna Snow shoots her snowball at me, but I reflect it back and I freeze the blade standing next to her with it. This is really a lot like Captain America's loop when he dives on enemies. So you need to know what the hero is, who you're diving on, and what they can do. Okay, so if it's a Mantis, just know that she will immediately try to sleep you. So you dive, you hit her, and then you start blocking shortly after that. That way, you can reflect the enemy's CC ability back at them. So we want to do this to most support heroes in general. You'll reflect Luna's freeze, you'll reflect Mantis' sleep spore, you can even reflect Invisible Woman's damaging bubble that she throws down back to her and damage her with it. Use it against Squirrel Girl, who will likely try to trap nut you when you dive on her. Use it on Black Widow, who will try to kick you and queue up her grapple. The more you know about your enemy and their kit, the more you'll get out of your objection reflection ability. But here's the most important part of objection that you really need to know. When you use objection, try to hug the enemy as tightly as possible. That's because it's not just a blocking defensive ability, it's actually an attack. That's right. So as you're swinging those billy clubs around, they'll actually smack the enemy several times. And they have great reach. If the enemy is within 5 meters of you, they'll get smacked several times as you're swinging these billy clubs around for up to 50 damage. Just think about this, guys. Okay, this is a huge factor in 1v1s. It's literally a free 50 HP swing during a 1v1. You're dueling somebody, maybe a tank, maybe another duelist, and in the middle of the fight, you just stop and hold your input for objection, and you just get to deal 50 damage point blank at them while taking no damage in return. And you can potentially do even more damage than that, because any projectiles that they send your way in those 2 seconds will go right back into their faces for even more damage. Additionally, any abilities that they use against you during that time will be negated and then go on cooldown. This is one of the most important things you can do in a 1v1 against half the enemy roster, okay? Objection wins fights, period. Objection wins fights. So in your 1v1s, throw it in there. But it's also important to note that objection can be used to help you withdraw from a fight as well. Just make sure you don't turn your back, because it's only frontal protection. But you can backpedal away from a fight, and you'll backpedal faster, remember, if an enemy is currently marked by your Sonic Pursuit. And you can create a little distance for 2 seconds while you back away. So you can, use this purely defensively when needed. Just know that it has a 12-second cooldown, so be smart about when and how you use it. Okay, next up is Righteous Cross. Think of this ability sort of as a comma, okay? It goes in between distinct things that you do as Daredevil, sort of like a comma goes in between clauses and statements and phrases and whatnot in sentence structure. So you're weaving abilities together as Daredevil, and the Righteous Cross is sort of the connector that goes in between those actions. It has a few applications. So Righteous Cross replaces your primary attack after you do certain things. So if you use your grapple hook, now you have Righteous Cross for 5 seconds that you can use. If you use either Devil's Chain or Devil's Throw, which we'll get into next, you'll unlock Righteous Cross. Righteous Cross causes you to lunge forward a short distance in whatever direction you're looking. It does 52 damage, and it generates half a charge of Fury on hit. So the most obvious way to use this is in between abilities as a way of sort of doing a big chunk of damage and generating some Fury. We'll weave it into our combos here in a second, But one use that gets totally overlooked far too often is actually using it as an evasive ability, okay? An evasive movement ability. You're gonna see me use Righteous Cross to hit absolutely nothing a ton in this gameplay. That's because I'm using it to make 90-degree angle directional changes at key moments to avoid enemy sightlines and attacks. It's an extremely useful tool to use for survivability, not just offense. It's very versatile. Always consider your context and how you might use it properly. Also, quick tip, don't really hold the trigger down with Daredevil for your primary fire, because if you do something that queues up Righteous Cross and you're currently holding the trigger down, Daredevil just won't do anything at all, okay? So make sure you're pulling the trigger or hitting the left click each time you mean to throw out an attack. That way, you'll avoid these awkward pauses in your combat. Alright, I'm sure this is the part most people are going to be most interested in, so let me talk about the two abilities that spend Fury. If you have at least 2 Fury, when you hit E on PC, right bumper on controller, Daredevil will whip out his chains and hold them up in a ready position. From here, you can either hit right click, it's the left trigger on controller, to throw the chains out for a ranged attack called Devil's Throw. Or you can hit left click, right trigger on controller, to perform a heavy melee attack called Devil's Chain to lash out at an enemy in front of you. They each have their uses, and knowing which one to use in any given moment is really important, and it always depends on your context. So let's start with Devil's Throw. This attack has a range of 40 meters. You toss out the chains and they impact the initial target, and they can then bounce to other targets nearby and back to the initial target. They do 34 damage per hit. Enemies hit with this attack will receive a slow debuff momentarily.
The road to the NBA Finals is happening now on ESPN. Greatness is...
So obviously, this is a great tool against a group of enemies. You toss it out into a group of enemies, spread some damage throughout the crowd, and disrupt their movement. But here's the important part that you wouldn't know unless you did some experimenting. Devil's Throw has some hidden interactions that has to do with the size of the impact and the trajectory of the chains as they fly around. So look at the damage here that I do when I simply target one enemy and throw these out, okay? They hit the main target, they bounce to another target, they come back to the initial target for some more damage. And look at the health bar here, okay? 34 damage per hit. But now I want you to watch this. If I line the enemies up in front of me so that the first enemy eclipses my view of the second enemy, now watch how much damage the exact same attack does, okay? Did you catch that? We're doing considerably more damage when we line enemies up with this attack. But there's a second variable here. I'm also not actually throwing the chains at the enemy. I'm actually throwing the chains at the floor in front of the first enemy in this line. So I'm going floor to enemy 1, to enemy 2, to enemy 1, back to me. And for some reason the game is going to calculate 2 extra hits into the mix because of that trajectory. It's kind of wild, huh? So you'll notice in a lot of my gameplay, after I figured this out, I'm never throwing the chains directly at an enemy. I'm throwing them at the floor, trying to line enemies up. I want to impact the floor right next to them, which tags them with the area of effect of that first impact on the floor. But then they bounce to the nearest target, same guy I just threw it right next to, hits him again. And then they'll go off, they'll hit another target, and they'll come back and they'll hit that first guy again for a third attack, and then travel back to me and apply sometimes a fourth hit if you're lucky on their return trip. It's just weird. It's kind of inconsistent, but you're consistently getting more damage. The question is just how much more? I don't know. It's up in the air. Kind of wild. So instead,
What are you baby doing? Get him, Easy, daddy. Easy, daddy. Easy.
Which hero do you think you want to be today?
My Odachi is sharp. My mind is sharper.
Now, who am I gonna banish from this match? You'll need a top-notch team to win this one. Round one,
I
go!
used to sword for hire. This is all so much bigger than me.
30 seconds before you attack. Get ready.
We, got a lot in common, you and me.
We are both hunters, ridding the world of the monsters that would devour it.
I was gonna say we both use swords and look good in leather. But, sure.
The battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All you need to do is capture the mission area. Got it?
Namor called him back up.
words with this Dracula from one immortal king to
The enemy has arrived. This will do nicely.
Octopus alert! The only octopus I like is grilled.
Word.
Another hit for Luna Snow. My vigor restored!
I'm back. Mind, step aside.
Did I just be sure?
If we strike, we strike here. If we strike, we strike here.
Help get that vehicle to its destination. Step on hurts.
in there. Power beyond sight.
Step aside.
Let's get to that spooky castle. Get that vehicle moving again! Those boys are on ice.
Step aside.
Come to ionic magic.
A nice deep freeze.
You're mine.
My power grows. Rip off every tentacle.
My soul shall avenge yours, Fate. You're mine. Out of sight.
Behind you.
We shall not fail.
Girl.
Get that vehicle moving again!
Bring on the chaos.
I suck! Octopus alert! An ancient mystical story. I am ready to put on a show! A nice deep freeze. Run the exploding plasma!
Too much damage. Again!
God of Thunder! No stopping us now!
You thought I was gone for good?
Still got an aim.
Only 60 seconds left.
By the eye of Agamotto!
Have to fight Dracula, huh?
I suck. Starting 30 seconds. Time for the big finish. Final 10 seconds. You'll have to keep fighting until we have a winner. That spooky castle before I change my mind.
I was born ready.
Hey.
The current score is 1-2-0. Time to switch things up, including which side you're on. The right heroes could make all the difference.
No one escapes hell.
Round 2, go!
Great river into which all others flow.
starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You have to stop them from securing the mission area.
Can't let the monster out at the wrong time.
Healing. Why would I need healing?
That time already?
What strange beasts from the dark depths? When mutants are in danger, the White Queen answers. Usually.
Really?
Bro, I'm gonna ask for heals one time. I'm gonna just say it one time, bro. That's it. I need heals.
And now there's
Thank you.
hellfire to pay.
Bring on the chaos.
It's the grand finale.
That was fine. Thank you.
Behold the god of thunder!
I am ready to put on a show.
I'm not coming out this. I'm done. I'm done. That's the worst healers. I'm done.
It's the grand finale.
That's better.
Step aside.
I'm back.
You need to stop that vehicle in its tracks.
I give up. I give up. I haven't seen a heal this whole game. I give up. I'm done. I'm done.
My hunt continues.
Y'all figure it out.
Step aside.
Hell yeah! My power grows!
Better stop that vehicle.
Farewell.
do you think you want to be today?
My odachi is sharp. My mind is sharper.
Now, who am I gonna banish from this match? You'll need a top-notch team to win this one.
Respect.
30 seconds before you attack. Get ready.
Your idealism refreshes a battered old soul.
You can't be that old.
Astral projection makes me feel old.
The battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All you need to do is capture the mission area. Got it?
Come now. I needed that. You're mine. I'm back. You're mine.
How?
Scan initiated. Vigilante active. Initiating surveillance. Martial law. Create effect.
You're mine. Track this enemy. Snap off the light. Anyone will
Oh my god, bro.
I will not rest until I return to my world once more.
I unleash the Vishanti's power!
The great step aside.
Bro, no way. It's no way. It's no way. It's no way. Y'all are terrible, bro.
A shortcut through space.
I don't step aside.
Final 10 seconds.
Anyone looking to help? Exposed. Embrace the talk.
The current score is 0-0. Time to switch things up, including which side you're on. The right heroes could make all the difference.
My order is sharp. My mind is sharper. I fought Oni, slayed demons. This should be easy. You're mine!
Well, you can't expect to win them all.
Weapons keep getting better, but it's still the person behind them that matters most. Incoming!
Which hero do you think you want to be today?
I'm not anyone's sidekick. What I do is best done alone.
Now, who am I gonna banish from this match? judging.
My aura is sharp. My mind is sharper. It appears some timelines feature a very different version of me.
30 seconds before you attack. Get ready.
You look at me as if you know me.
In my timeline, you are one of the greatest warriors our nation has ever known.
I have been seeking others like me.
And once we are done here, I will gladly take you to them, my dear. Krakoa will be delighted.
The battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All you need to do is capture the mission area. Got it?
Humans are so fond of their golden idols, but all of them shall bow to steel. Ah, here they are now.
Tandy needs help.
The mission area is yours to capture now.
What, bro? Oh my god.
Alright, Ty. Now we really have to
Reborn once more.
They captured the mission area!
Why should Asgard not be mine? That is the real question. Enemies, perfect. I am very hard.
Your team's capture progress is past the halfway point.
This is real firepower!
Fight it, Ty.
Feels like living.
We make a good team.
Got a full deck. I won't sleep.
They've almost got it!
Got a full deck. I won't sleep. Always glad to have it. Suspicious?
Here come the bad guys.
You best check this out.
I serve. The hand of heaven is here. Show some respect.
Magneto raised me to never stop fighting for what I believe is right.
30 seconds before you attack. Get ready. When I see someone with powers like yours, I think, wow. I mean, how can I compare?
Don't compare. You just spread your light.
The battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All you need to do is capture the mission area. Got it?
Doom is a powerful magic adept. I expect we will face each other again soon.
Our foes surround us.
Looks like the mission area is yours to
Approach this site with caution.
Look who we got here.
Incoming!
That's better.
Acknowledged.
Now, a disappearing.
The area's almost yours! Disappear!
Goodbye.
I unleash the Vishanti's power.
Let's keep fighting until we have a winner.
There is no reason to be afraid of my magic, unless you give me one.
30 seconds before you attack. Get ready.
Here we are, side by side.
Don't have to be a witch to find the magic in this world, but it does help. And at least we can finally
The
agree.
battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All you need to do is capture the mission area. Got it?
After what Hydra did to me, this fight got a lot more personal.
Mon Dieu, that hurt.
The mission area is yours to capture now.
Assemble!
Us against the world!
Armed and dangerous! Again!
To capture the mission area!
What?
Again!
I won't make the same mistakes. This is what the professor trained me for since I was just a child.
Fall back!
Thanks for the boost.
Your team's captured the halfway point.
Can't catch me.
The heals is not going for me right now.
My turn to shine.
Reborn again. Good times.
They've almost got it!
Assemble!
think you want to be today?
I'm not anyone's sidekick. What I do is best done alone.
Now, who am I gonna banish from this match? You'll need a top-notch team to win this one. Round one.
As long as there's still something worth fighting for, I'll be on the front lines.
30 seconds before you attack. Get ready. If we use our ice powers together, we can stop our enemies cold.
Ice powers? What the heck are you talking about, kid?
You are the Winter Soldier, aren't you?
I think something may have gotten lost in translation.
The battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. including which side you're on. The right heroes could make all the difference.
My Odachi is sharp. My mind is sharper.
I'm not anyone's sidekick. What I do is best done alone.
You don't have to be a witch to find the magic in this world.
Round two,
There is no reason to be afraid of my magic, unless you give me one. Goodbye, for now. Don't
They'll be coming in 30 seconds. Stay strong.
I will not rest until I return to my world once more.
The battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Now the void! Perhaps you are the leader we claim to be, Magneto. That's better. The enemy has arrived. Clean magic. No, just the light. I'll respond. Step aside.
Us against the world!
Healing magic. Lovely.
They hit a checkpoint. Now might be a good time to stop them. Turn around. Better stop that vehicle.
My light cannot be snuffed. Step aside.